before investing.
There once was a poet who fell upon such hard times that he was no longer able to feed his family. So he decided to set a palace and appeal to the generosity of the king. Upon being summoned by the king, he started reciting his poems. The king, well pleased, asked him to name his reward. Pointing to the finely wrought chessboard, the poet said, "Your Highness, if you place just 1 grain of rice in the first square and double it for every square, I will consider myself well rewarded." "Are you sure?" asked the king. "Just grains of rice and not gold?" "Yes, Your Highness." "So it shall be." So the courtiers started placing the grains of rice. 1 on the first square, 2 on the second, 4 on the third, 8 on the fourth square, and so on. By the time they came to the 10th square, they had to place 512 grains of rice. By the 20th square, the number swelled to 5,24,000. Sundaram Mutual, unearthing opportunities. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Please read the statement of additional information and the scheme information document carefully before investing.
चिंटू, अलमारी के ऊपर से ब्राउन वाला बैग निकाल दो।
ये तो बहुत ऊंचा है। मुझे ये क्यों बोलते हैं जबकि पता है कि मैं छोटा हूँ। मैं ही क्यों फंसता हूँ ऐसे चक्करों में।
बैग निकाला क्या?
पापा ये सही किया, ये लैडर सही है।
चिंटू के लिए बैग निकालना उतना मुश्किल नहीं था जितना वो सोच रहा था। थोड़ी समझदारी एंड छोटे छोटे स्टेप्स आपको मंजिल तक पहुंचा देते हैं। कहते हैं ना, द जर्नी ऑफ 1000 माइल्स बिगिंस विद 1 सिंगल स्टेप। इसी तरह SIP के जरिए छोटे छोटे स्टेप्स लेकर फाइनेंशियल गोल्स अचीव किए जा सकते हैं। SIP मतलब सिस्टमैटिक इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लान। एक बार SIP रजिस्टर करने से हर महीने आपके बैंक अकाउंट से फिक्स डेट को फिक्स अमाउंट म्यूचुअल फंड में इन्वेस्ट होता जाता है। इससे डिसिप्लिन वे में आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट तो होता ही है। क्योंकि ये इन्वेस्टमेंट मार्केट लिंक्ड होती है, इसलिए मार्केट के उतार चढ़ाव के बीच आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट एक एवरेज कॉस्ट पर होता है। तो अब बड़े सपने देखो, चाहे छोटे स्टेप्स लो, शुरू तो करो।
पापा, बड़ी वाली अलमारी के ऊपर से मेरे गर्म कपड़े निकालने हैं और लंबी लैडर लगेगी।
हाँ, उसका भी इंतजाम है। ओ, हाँ, बड़ी सीढ़ी लगाते हैं।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
देख, कुछ होता है तो फोन कर। हाँ विकास, 1 लाख की जरूरत है। शर्मा, गुप्ता, सेन।
क्या वर्मा, धंधा जोरों पर है। बड़े बड़े नंबर लिख रहा है, 0 पर 0 लगा रहा है।
कहाँ का धंधा? 2 बड़े पेमेंट आने थे, एंड टाइम पर रुक गए। और जो फ्लैट मैंने बुक किया था, इस महीने उसकी भी पेमेंट आ गई। बेटी फीस और इस बार पिताजी ने भी थोड़े पैसे मंगाए हैं। महीने के जो रेगुलर खर्चे होते हैं, दूध वाला, बाई, पेट्रोल, क्रेडिट कार्ड वगैरह वगैरह, वो तो वैसे ही हैं।
ये खर्चे तो होते ही हैं यार। तूने ऐसी हालत क्यों बनाई हुई है?
सेविंग अकाउंट पूरा खाली कर देने के बाद भी ये सारे खर्चे पूरे नहीं हो पा रहे, तो पेमेंट रुक गए, वो अलग।
बाकी पैसे कहाँ गए? सब उड़ा दिए?
अरे नहीं, इन्वेस्ट किए हुए हैं, लेकिन इक्विटी फंड अच्छा रिस्पॉन्स कर रहे हैं। कुछ लॉक इन पीरियड में है। ज्वेलरी कैसे बेच दूं? एफडी तोड़ूं या बॉन्ड करूं तो क्या करूं? अब तुरंत पैसे की जरूरत है।
ओह, या तो पैसा सेविंग में या इन्वेस्टेड। लिक्विड में कुछ नहीं है।
अरे सेविंग अकाउंट लिक्विड ही तो है।
मतलब लिक्विड फंड ठीक जिंदगी के ऐसे मोड़ों के लिए जहां अभी तू खड़ा है।
मतलब कि क्या?
लिक्विड फंड म्यूचुअल फंड की एक कैटेगरी है।
और एंट्री एंड एग्जिट लोड?
लिक्विड फंड में जनरली कोई एंट्री एग्जिट लोड नहीं होता, तो इसमें एंट्री एंड एग्जिट लोड का नो प्रॉब्लम।
तो फिर
लिक्विड फंड का पैसा गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज जैसे कि ट्रेजरी बिल्स और दूसरी शॉर्ट टर्म डेट सिक्योरिटीज जैसे टर्म डिपॉजिट, सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ डिपॉजिट्स, कमर्शियल पेपर्स इत्यादि में इन्वेस्ट होता है, जिसकी मैच्योरिटी 91 डेज से ऊपर नहीं होती। जब चाहो तब अपना पैसा निकाल सकते हो।
और रिटर्न भी देता है?
बिल्कुल।
तो आज का किस्सा निपट जाए तो सबसे पहला काम यही करूंगा।
और आज के लिए मैं तेरा लिक्विड फंड बन जाता हूँ। दोस्त भी तो लिक्विड फंड की तरह ऐसे ही मौकों पर काम आते हैं।
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme related documents carefully.
Hello everyone. Let me begin with the Monetary Policy Committee decision which voted in the favor of a status quo, and that was unanimous in nature. This was largely in line with market expectations. So what did change was the reverse repo rate, which was increased from 5.75 to 6%. So effectively it means that the corridor between the repo and the reverse repo, which was at 0.5%, now at 0.25%. Why was this required? Couple of reasons. A, the overnight rate, which is the rate at which the interbank transactions happen, had gone way below the repo rate and was trading at around the reverse repo rate. This could have meant an implied easing of rates, which is something which we believe RBI could have been wary of. Number two, there is an excess liquidity in the system right now, which we believe RBI wants to gradually drain out. Is it likely to completely choke the system in terms of liquidity? The answer is probably not. But I think this band or the narrowing of the band would effectively mean slightly more orderly movement, especially at the short end of the yield curve. The markets obviously were expecting a status quo, so the impact was fairly muted as far as the short end of the yield curve goes. We saw an yields increase marginally in the band of about 5 to 10 basis points. The government securities market, or the G-Secs as we call it, had the biggest impact in terms of quantum of price fall or the yield rise. Now this was largely given the outlook table to us by the Monetary Policy Committee, which basically sees some upside risk to inflation. Of course, the FY17 or the March 2017 target for inflation has largely been met, but the FY17-18 inflation target has been broken into two halves. First half at about 4.5%, second half at about 5%. This effectively means that the RBI sees some upside risk to the inflation projections of being able to achieve the 4% mark. Now that obviously has not been good news for the markets, and even more important is given the uncertainty on the global economic variables, as also coupled with the monsoon effects, the inflation impact and the transient liquidity, the RBI believes that the rates will remain in neutral mode for some time now. We therefore believe that incremental rate cuts in the near to medium term could not be something which could be conceivable. What should therefore markets look forward to going forward? Expect the markets to remain range bound in line, probably in the band of about 5 to 10 basis points, given the kind of sell-off that we have already seen right now. The 10-year government security benchmark is almost at 6.8%. The good news here is that foreign institutional investors have been continuous buyers, not only in the equity markets but also in the bond markets. January year to date 2017, we have seen almost 1 lakh crores of inflows by FIIs both in the equity and the fixed income markets. In fact, in the first 2 working days of April alone, we've seen approximately 10,000 crores of FII flows into the bond markets. This, we believe, will keep the yield rise under check with incremental buying coming in from foreign investors as also some investors in the domestic segment. What should be the outlook going forward and the strategies that investors should focus on? In this kind of a scenario, we have been quoting for quite some time that short-term or credit accrual-based strategies seem to be the best fit for an investor seeking exposure into fixed income. Ultra short-term kind of strategies also would probably be a better suited investment avenue over liquid funds where the yields are at abysmally low levels, and we believe will continue to remain that way going forward. Should one look at duration funds like gilt and bond even right now? Well, we believe that these funds come in with inherent increased volatility given the longer nature of the duration that they have, and therefore a buy on dips could be a potent strategy, probably as a tail end allocation to your fixed income portfolio. To conclude, we believe that the domestic variables are broadly under control with no imminent negatives in the offing. Crude has been under control, inflation has been fairly orderly. It remains to be seen how the global factors pan out, which will obviously shape the future course of the monetary policy in India. Thank you.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
What are the different types of mutual fund schemes? There are several ways to categorize mutual fund schemes. Let's check out a few of them. First of all, schemes can either be classified as open-ended schemes or closed-ended schemes. What is an open-ended fund or scheme? An open-ended fund or scheme means that it's open for business on all business days. You can invest or withdraw your money on all business days. Liquidity is the key feature of open-ended schemes. And what are close-ended funds or schemes? Close-ended funds or schemes have a stipulated maturity period. Example, 3 months, 6 months, a year or more. Unlike the open-ended funds that's open for business on all business days, close-ended funds are open for purchase only during the initial launch and for redemption at specified periods of time, either immediately post-launch or later, depending on when the AMC specifies. Mutual fund schemes can be classified according to the investment objective. Such schemes may be open-ended or close-ended schemes, as described earlier. Let's take a look at some variations. Equity funds. The aim of growth funds is to provide capital appreciation over a medium to long-term period. These funds invest in equity shares of companies and therefore offer the investor the potential for growth. Such schemes invest a major amount in equities. Equity schemes are suitable for investors having a long-term outlook, seeking appreciation over a period of time. Balanced funds. The aim of balanced funds is to provide the benefits of investing in both equities as well as debt securities in the proportion indicated in their offer documents. These are appropriate for those investors who are looking for growth without taking too much risk. These funds are also affected because of fluctuations in share prices in the stock markets. However, NAVs of such funds are likely to be less volatile compared to pure equity funds. Index funds replicate the portfolio of a particular market index such as the BSE Sensex, S&P Nifty, etc. This makes tracking your investments simple and easy to understand. NAVs of such schemes would rise or fall in accordance with the rise or fall in the index, though not exactly by the same percentage due to some factors known as tracking error in technical terms. Necessary disclosures in this regard are made in the offer document of the mutual fund scheme. Income or bond funds. Income funds invest in debt securities such as bonds, corporate debentures, government securities, and money market instruments. Such funds are less risky compared to equity schemes. These funds are not affected by fluctuations in the equity markets. However, opportunities of capital appreciation are also limited in such funds. Income funds are generally preferred by individuals with a low risk profile. Money market or liquid fund. These funds are also income funds, and their aim is to provide easy liquidity, preservation of capital, and moderate income. These schemes invest exclusively in safer short-term instruments such as treasury bills, certificates of deposit, commercial paper, BLO, government securities, etc. Returns on these schemes do not fluctuate much compared to other funds. These funds are appropriate for corporate and individual investors as a means to park their surplus funds for short periods of time. Gilt funds. These funds invest exclusively in government securities. Government securities have no default risk. NAVs of these schemes also fluctuate due to the change in interest rates and other economic factors, as is the case with income or debt-oriented schemes. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents and information carefully before investing.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
How convenient is it to invest in a mutual fund scheme? Investors can contact their financial advisor for necessary information and application forms. Forms can be deposited at the collection centers through the distributors who provide such services. Investors can also visit the AMC's sales office, registrars and transfer agents or investor service centers and deposit duly filled application forms. Most AMCs today also offer an online transaction platform which enables investors to complete their investment on the internet without any physical application forms. Investors should note that there are cut-off times for transacting in any mutual fund scheme, and the applicable NAV is dependent on the time at which the transaction is recorded. For example, if on January 1st you invest in DSP BlackRock Equity Fund and submit the application form 3 p.m., which is the cut-off time for DSP BlackRock Equity Fund, the applicable NAV will be as of January 1st. If, however, this transaction is recorded after 3 p.m., the applicable NAV will be that of January 2nd. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents and information carefully before investing.
Life is a roller coaster ride, full of ups and downs. Well, we all know that we have to save for retirement, children's education, family obligations, medical emergencies, travel. All the responsibilities and desires that life brings with it. But the truth is, no matter how much you save, it's never enough. Have you ever tried beating a treadmill while running on it? It invariably stays in front of you. Inflation is like a treadmill. If the rate of inflation on an average over the long term is greater than the return on your investment, then you will have lost the race before it even started. And as time passes by, the gap between your investment growth and cost increase due to inflation will only widen. If you still don't believe in the power of inflation, take a look at these numbers. Let's assume an average 5% rate of inflation over different time periods. For example, if you take a look at your monthly expenses currently, say they're about Rs 20,000. After 25 years, it will be above 67,000 rupees. If you want to send your child for higher education today, it would cost you about 5 lakh rupees. But after 15 years, it will be above 10 lakh rupees. If you want to marry your child today, it will cost you about 10 lakh. But after 20 years, it will be above 26 lakh rupees. So, if you want your investment returns to win the race against inflation, you need to choose an investment option that has the potential to perform with some momentum over a long period of time. How do you beat inflation? All you need is an investment vehicle which has the potential to deliver returns which are substantially higher than inflation over a long period of time. Did you know? Indian equity markets have given an average return of 17.73% since inception. An equity mutual fund scheme with a long-term track record and consistent performance, such as DSP BlackRock Top 100 Equity Fund or DSP BlackRock Equity Fund, could potentially be that vehicle which helps you comfortably stay ahead of inflation over time. Experience may have taught you that tasks done in a planned, disciplined, systematic manner always deliver the best results.
इतने पैसे बचते ही कहाँ हैं? बट अगले साल ये सब प्लान में है।
और शादी?
रिंकी के घर में तो अभी पता भी नहीं है, पर उससे पहले घर लेना पड़ेगा। रिंकी के पापा ना।
लेकिन अगर अगले साल बैंकॉक, कार, तब तक ये फोन भी पुराना हो जाएगा। फिर एक और बर्थडे, एक और गिफ्ट, और तब तक रिंकी के पापा को पता चल गया तो ना आया घर, ना हुई शादी। तो क्या घड़ी होगी, कपड़े होंगे, शायद कार भी होगी। उसमें ही तुम्हारा दोस्त तुम्हें एयरपोर्ट छोड़ देगा। तुम बैंकॉक चले जाना।
अंकल, आप तो डरा रहे हो।
ना ना, बता रहा हूँ, क्योंकि तुम्हें शादी से पहले घर लेना है और इसके लिए पैसे बचाने पड़ेंगे। न सिर्फ बचाने पड़ेंगे बल्कि इन्वेस्ट करने पड़ेंगे। आज मेरे पास सीमा भी है, घर भी, कार भी, और ये घड़ी मैंने लंदन से ली थी।
अंकल, 2-3 हजार बचा भी लिए तो उससे क्या करने के लिए?
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
You achieve your desired result. As if compounding wasn't enough, investing with the help of SIPs also